I've always had a very vivid dream life, and I've come to believe that dreams are one of the ways in which conscious tries to speak to us, tries to get our attention. And I've learned over the years that it's really worthwhile listening. Dreams don't speak to us logically or literally. They can do, but most of the time they speak in symbols, imagery, storytelling. And I'm no expert in dream analysis, but from everything I've learned from my own dream life over the years is that if you pay attention to a dream and interpret it properly, it can tell you a lot about your subconscious mind, and it does then become that bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. So it can be used as a tool to aid in your self-awareness, to bring that unconscious into conscious awareness, and also to release and let go and integrate things that are happening within you psychologically and in your psyche. And of course, there's a spiritual element to dreams as well. It's constantly referenced in the Bible, and dreams very much are, it's also a way in which God speaks to us. God speaks to us in dream. When we are in a phase of life where there's a lot of transformation happening, a lot of change, a lot of shifts, a lot of inner transformation, identity shifting, like I've been talking about in previous videos, that's when also your dream life can become very vivid, very alive, because there's so much happening internally that is going to be reflected in your dream life if you are a person who dreams a lot and remembers your dreams. And if you don't, well, maybe this video isn't for you, but if you're interested, it certainly is fascinating. So I have some examples of dreams that I've had at phases in my life where there were a lot of changes going on, and I thought I'd share them with you as examples of how dreams can reflect what we're going through in our life at the time, and how the unconscious is processing what it is that we are experiencing. And also, dream symbolism can be incredibly blunt. They speak in ways that, you cannot ignore. So for example, I had a dream at one point where I was about to fly. I was about to take a flight. And in fact, in real life, I was due to fly in a few days. And in this dream, I was packing. And again, dreams take things to an extreme, things that would never obviously happen in real life, right? But it's to get our attention. So in this dream, I was packing, and I was actually packing excrement, as in S-H-I-T. Not gonna even say that on YouTube. Obviously, you'd never do that in real life. I was packing that into my suitcase. I mean, gross. What does that even mean, right? And in this dream, I remember thinking maybe I shouldn't bring this, because it's going to be weird if they check security. And in the end, I just decided, you know what? I think it's best to just leave it behind. And I didn't bring it. And of course, what this means is, very literally, S-H-I-T, I mean, that's baggage. You know what I mean? That's emotional baggage you've been carrying. It's things that are supposed to be released and purged, not things you're supposed to carry with you. And I was about to take this flight and start a new chapter. This was a new beginning for me. And subconsciously, I was sorting out what I didn't want to bring emotionally, psychologically into my next chapter. And that represented itself in this dream as physical S-H-I-T. Right? And that is what I then, in the end, the shift was in the dream. I didn't bring it along. I left it behind. And so the psyche had cleared out something. The psyche had released something old, something outdated, something that no longer belonged to where I was going. And, the dreams often speak to us like this, very, crudely, to get our attention. And when you dream about releasing and letting go, often you'll get themes like that, relieving yourself. Themes like that can show up. If you get themes like that in your dreams, it's usually a sign that the psyche is purging something. You are releasing something. And that is very much the symbolism that is attached to those themes. So when we're in a season of transformation and identity shifting, and we're expanding, we're growing, we're shedding old layers of self, those kinds of dreams can appear because it's a sign that you're releasing and shedding old stuff, literally old stuff. Another dream I had, and this was at a time when I had left a quite a dysfunctional relationship many years ago. I had a dream that I was at a platform, a train station, with my ex, and we were rushing to get the train. We were rushing to, make the train. And eventually he got on board and I didn't make it. The doors shut and I didn't make it on board the train. And so, of course, train left the platform with him on it, and I was left standing on the platform. And of course, symbolically, this was quite easy interpretation, really. You are no longer traveling in the same direction. You are no longer traveling together into a new destination. He's traveling along out of your life, and you are left to travel in your own direction now, or somewhere else. So that was quite an easy interpretation. Again, the symbolism of the train leaving the platform and the symbolism of no longer traveling together, and that is also the psyche making these connections, releasing, processing. Your subconscious is processing these changes in your life, right? And I actually quite like that dream because I think there's something quite just wholesome in that. So, these are some of the patterns that we can look for when we're in a big transition. Some of these symbolisms of travel, of releasing, a lot of them can show up in our dream life. Something else that can show up in dreams is if you have held something in that you really want to say to someone and you haven't said it. Sometimes you will say it in a dream, but you will almost shout it. You will literally tell this person how things are. Sometimes that's not appropriate to do in real life. And so because you can't do it in real life, you will do it in a dream, and you get that, the psyche gets some kind of integration from doing that. That's also worthwhile paying attention to. And one thing that I think is very notable when we are in this transition where you're changing and shifting and you're going from an old way of being into a new way of being, what will often happen in a dream is a change of mind, right? Like in the packing dream, where you're going to do one thing, you're planning on doing one thing, which is what your old self would have done. And in the end, you make a different choice. You make a different decision in your dream. That is the psyche integrating a new way of being. It's integrating that new sense of self. And when that happens in a dream, the subconscious is processing this way of being. And that's when you're really transforming and changing, because if it's in the subconscious and it's changing in the subconscious, which is what you can see is happening when you are witnessing a dream like that, because it's bringing what's happening in the subconscious into conscious awareness, that's when you've really shifted something, because the unconscious has reprogrammed, it's shifted. So when you are in this identity shifting phase and you notice that in a dream, a change of direction, a change of decision making, some kind of shift, then you know that it's being integrated on a deeper level. And that is a really, really good sign, because now you've crossed over into something. Now you've unblocked something. Now you've transcended something now. I'm currently reading this book by Carl Jung about dreams. It's just called Dreams, where he has analyzed a lot of people's dreams. And it's quite a few really remarkable stories in here. And it's I'm only about halfway through, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of deep, interesting reflections yet to come. But it's really good to read things like this to get a deeper understanding of how to interpret and understand your dreams and the symbolism that can be found in those dreams, because that does speak to the collective unconscious, right? Like Jung spoke about. So definitely recommend picking up some books on dream analysis if that's something that, if you're like me and you have vivid dreams. The psyche often speaks to us in symbols through our dreams. The main question is, are we willing to listen to the messages that we receive? Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Hege, sharing spiritual insight, poetry, music, and lived reflection to help us see more clearly and to live more truthfully together. Until next time.